Hello and welcome to the most boring man on YouTube. And so we've just had the Italian Grand Prix qualifying for Monza. What a qualifying we've had. It's taken a bit of time to work out who's going to end up where. So bear with me, but I'll run through the qualifying sessions individually and then we'll see who's on pole. The red light might give it away. So Q1 we had Mick Schumacher going out. He was 20th and last. Kevin Magnussen, he made a mistake. He had a lap time deleted as well. Was out of Q1 and got dragged back in with that lap time deletion. Ended up in P19. Then came the two Aston Martins, Stroll and Vettel, 18th and 17th. And then Nicholas Latifi qualified in 16th. He got beat by his new teammate, Nick De Vries. He's taking the place of Alex Albon. I think he's got an issue with appendicitis, Albon, so he's not going to be taking part this weekend. So massive opportunity for Nick De Vries. And while he's taken it in qualifying, star of that really, Daniel Ricciardo for me. Finally made it out of Q3, Q1. It's been a long time coming. He was a lot closer to his teammate this weekend. And he kind of was really looking forward to this weekend, as he was saying at the end of last week, considering how poor it was the race for him. So great result for him. And then Nick De Vries, obviously first time in a Formula One session and out-qualifies his teammate. Fastest in that session was Max Verstappen. He beat Charles Leclerc and then Carlos Sainz, but he only beat him by 0.3. Bit of a surprise there. I expected him to be a lot faster. Bit more of a Spa beating I expected Red Bull to give the rest, but didn't quite work out in Q1 as bad as I thought. And then into Q2, then Yuki Tsunoda, he had a car issue, didn't actually take part in that. He ended up in 15th. And then we've got Zhou in 14th. Nick De Vries finished in 13th in that session. Had a bit of a scruffy lap at the end. He locked his rears on his last run to try and get out, which was a bit of a shame there. Valtteri Bottas got 12th place, and Ocon, surprisingly, has done really quite well recently. Normally got into the Q3 sessions, but he was knocked out there. It was two Ferraris on pole, well, not on pole, at the front there. Carlos Sainz beat Charles Leclerc in the Q2. And then we had the two Red Bulls, two Mercedes, and then two McLarens, which was very interesting. And then Alonso and Gasly was the top 10 there. So they were going to fight it out for pole in Q3. Fernando Alonso didn't get a time in. He messed up his first lap, and then he also messed up his second lap. And so he finished 10th in Q3. Pierre Gasly finished ninth. Daniel Ricciardo, much improved performance from him. Very close behind his teammate Lando Norris, so 8th and 7th for them. George Russell in 6th place, Lewis Hamilton in 5th. Lewis Hamilton went out and used in his first run, gave Russell a tow. Not sure what happened in the end on Russell's second run, but Hamilton seemed to beat him into 5th place there. Sergio Perez was 4th, and then we've got Carlos Sainz in 3rd place, and then we've got split by the Red Bull of Max Verstappen, and then we've got Charles Leclerc on pole, as you can see, the Ferrari red. But the grid is all going to change, and I'll tell you why, because we've got engine penalties, numerous 9 drivers taking engine penalties for this weekend. I think really because the next 3 or 4 races are tracks where you don't want to be taking engine penalties. It'll be difficult to overtake. And then the next one where they could potentially look at an engine penalty is Austin, which will be quite close to the end of the season. So this is why a lot of teams have opted to do that here. So we're going to have a mixed grid as we did in Spa. So Lewis Hamilton, he's taken numerous engine components. He's starting at the back. Carlos Sainz also, he took engine components and a gearbox. Yuki Tsunoda also some engine components. He's starting at the back. Mick Schumacher, some engine parts also. Same with his teammate Magnussen and Bottas. They're taking 15 grid penalties for the components that they've taken. Sergio Perez taking his 4th ICE unit, the internal combustion engine. So he's taking because you're only allowed 3. If you on the 4th one, you take a 10-place grid penalty. His teammate Max Verstappen taking a 5 grid penalty, place grid penalty. He also changed his ICE unit, but because that's his 5th unit now, the rules say that for your 4th one you're going to take 10 place, and then the 5th, for the 4th unit of the season where you're allowed 3, you take 10 places, and then for the 5th one thereafter it's 5 places only. So effectively all these guys that are taking the big hits now, next time they won't have to take such a big hit. But it's surprising that's how it works out. So what is the grid for tomorrow? This is how I've worked it out. So we've got Charles Leclerc on pole, George Russell 2nd, Lando Norris 3rd, Max Verstappen, even despite taking a penalty, is going to move up a position to 4th. Well, a couple of positions really. He actually qualified 2nd, so he should have been 7th really. So he's moved up like 3 places up into 4th, just because the teams or the drivers just directly behind them all taking penalties. So a bit of a strange one there. Daniel Ricciardo is going to start 5th. Then we've got Pierre Gasly 6th, Alonso 7th, Nick De Vries 8th. So that'd be a great starting position for him for his first race. Let's see if he can get some points for Williams there. That'd be absolutely fabulous. What a result that would be for him. Zhou Guanyu in 9th. Nicholas Latifi has moved up to 10th despite qualifying 16th. Vettel 11th. Stroll 12th. Perez again moved a few places, 13th. Ocon 14th. Bottas 15th. Magnussen 16th. And Mick Schumacher 17th. So they're moved off the back of the grid. Carlos Sainz is going to start the race in 18th. Lewis Hamilton 19th. And Yuki Tsunoda in 20th and last. So a bit of a shame really for Carlos Sainz, who had a brilliant qualifying to be and at their home race for Ferrari, starting so far back. Who's going to win the race tomorrow? Well, it looks tight. I imagine it won't take Max Verstappen very long passing Lando Norris and George Russell. Russell was 1.3 seconds behind Max in qualifying or off pole really, so about a second behind Max Verstappen on pace in qualifying, and that's not going to change overnight. So it'll be a battle at the front, Charles Leclerc and Max Verstappen. Let's see how that one pans out. It'll be very tight going into the first corner. We've got Danny Rick starting on 5th, and he did brilliantly here, won not very long ago. Happy hunting grounds for him, so it'll be interesting to see where that ends up. We've got a really mixed grid. Let's see how Lewis Hamilton coming back through the field. As I say, we're not going to have the fastest car, so may struggle even passing sort of slower cars in front. They don't have the straight line speed. They do have a heavy drag car. Carlos Sainz 18th, so it'll be interesting to see him come through the field as well. And we've got an opportunity for the front guys. George Russell, he's been absolutely brilliant, Mr. Consistency we've been calling him, and he's done brilliantly, and he's starting 2nd, so could that be another podium for him? Could McLaren finally get a podium? They're starting 3rd and 5th, and Danny Rick could be, that'd be brilliant to see him up there even. Monza always folds up a surprise. It's one of my favourite circuits. Can't wait to go one day. High power, like 85% full throttle around that circuit, so it should be high speed, a lot of positions to overtake first corner. We see them going even after that out into turn 4, the chicane there. There's some overtaking possibilities over there, so it should be very, very exciting for the race tomorrow. I can't wait, and I'll see you on my review for that tomorrow. Thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe and continue these. Thank you very much.